Welcome to smcready.org. In the next few minutes, we'll give you several ways that you can prepare and protect yourself and those around you in case of a disaster here in San Mateo County. There are so many ways that we can be more prepared inside our home, and here to help us with those steps is Sean O'Connor from the Colma Fire District. Thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, so first up, where do we get started and how do we prepare?
Well, the next step is to continue working your plan and to identifying those things that you can do before a disaster to mitigate any risk, as well as to know what to do during and after disaster, such as finding exits in your home.
Okay, well, this is going to be a long conversation, so I want to sit down and talk through it. But you said exits from your home, so don't we just go out the front door?
Well, that's an option, definitely. However, you need to have at least 2 exits because in case one of those is blocked. So identifying exit points within your home, as well as those safe areas and hazard areas if you're at during an earthquake, such as large glass windows or heavy objects that could fall. And identifying those beforehand so that you know where they are.
And a lot of times, bedrooms, I know my bedroom, my daughter's bedroom, it's on a 3rd floor. What do you do if your exits are blocked? You can't go down the stairs?
That's a common worry. They do make fire escape ladders that you can purchase, which will allow exit through the window down to the floor. The key is to make sure that it's long enough based on the height that it is.
And they're little small things you can just fit right next to your bed.
You can usually slide them right under your bed.
Okay. All right. We have several ways to prepare our home to make the home safer here. What are these things?
These are various items. One of the key steps is to secure items in your home before the earthquake hits. The biggest risks during an earthquake are items falling off the walls or shelves, as well as water heaters. Gas lines coming into a water heater are a large risk, and you can mitigate that by purchasing flexible hoses, which allow the water heater to move. It's not quite so rigid. In addition, strapping your water heater to a wall to secure it so that it does not fall or break that gas line.
Now, I'm not very mechanically inclined. Could I do that myself?
It's pretty straightforward. However, it's one of those items because you are dealing with gas, it's always safe to hire a professional to ensure that it's done properly. Items such as this, however, you can do in your home because they're very straightforward and have explanations on the back for exactly what to do.
What is this?
This is an item that works very well for heavy objects that are hanging on the wall. Ideally, you don't want to have heavy objects hanging over your bed because of the potential of falling and hitting you while you sleep.
And everyone loves to put those gigantic portraits right above their bed. Not the best place for it.
Not the best place for it. If you really are going to have to do that, then I recommend using something such as this, which is a picture hook that allows it to move, but it will not let it fall.
Okay.
Very easy to install. In addition, we have furniture straps. Heavy objects such as large bookcases, TVs, those items that could really cause a lot of damage or injury if they fell forward, can be secured to the wall using a strap such as this that has Velcro and make sure that it resists the urge to fall forward. In addition, any of you who have toddlers or have kids around the house are familiar with these cabinet locks. They're very valuable in keeping those items in your cabinets and keeping the doors closed so that the items don't fall out and either break or injure someone.
Okay.
Lastly, one of the objects that is my favorite thing to use is called Quake Hold Gel. It's an item commonly used by most museums. It's a clear gel that has a very kind of a sticky consistency to it, but it'll keep an object from shaking or falling, but yet if you need to remove it, you just simply pop it off and it won't leave a residue where it was at.
I love that because you think of things falling and hurting you, but also what about your most valued, piece of china?
Exactly.
You don't want that to fall down and break. That's excellent.
And great.
It's so easy to use. I love that.
And it takes very little to be very effective.
Well, I noticed that you brought the fire extinguisher.
Well, the fire extinguisher is one of those items that even before disaster, for common household fires, this is one of the best items you can have in your house. They're very simple to use. However, we always recommend to go through a formal training to know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah, they can be really tricky.
Exactly. They do have clear directions on it as well as the different types of fires that they can fight because there are different classes.
So it's good to really read this and get familiar with it now
Correct.
before you're panicking.
Exactly. It's all part of the planning process.
Right.
If you're aware of the hazards ahead of time, you can plan for them and educate yourself.
And really the trick is not to panic, but before the adrenaline's rushing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, where can you get this stuff?
A lot of these items can be found in common household hardware stores. The furniture straps, cabinet locks, definitely. Some of your more specialized items like the Quake Hold Gel or these picture hooks, you can find through online resources or specialty stores.
What if there's someone in your house who has special needs? Somebody who has a hearing impairment or children even.
Exactly, all things to take into consideration. For children, you want to be aware, especially if they're at school, what the school's emergency plan is. What are they going to do if a disaster hits so that you can incorporate that into your plan, as well as educating your children on how not to be scared, but how to educate them ahead of time. As far as
Prepared, not scared.
yes,
right?
very good point. And those seniors or those with disabilities, anticipate those needs ahead of time, especially if someone has limited mobility. Those access points are going to, exit points are going to need to take that into consideration. How do you get someone out of your home if they have limited mobility?
And when we talk about going out of the house, we also talk about a meeting place.
That's correct.
Right?
Everyone's fairly familiar with the idea that if you have a house fire, you want to have a common meeting place right outside your home, such as a mailbox, to know that everyone is out safely.
Okay, so plan that ahead of time.
Correct.
What if you're not at your house?
If you're not at your house, if someone's at work or at daycare, then have an alternate meeting place identified so that you know ahead of time where everyone should meet and be accounted for.
I know every time we have an earthquake, I am just fighting the urge to run outside. That is not the right thing to do, right?
Correct. Running outside is actually the worst thing you can do. It's your basic instinct. Get out of where you're at. However, it's safest to drop, cover, and hold.
Drop, cover, hold.
Correct. Because you want to get under a sturdy object such as a desk or a table to protect your head and your body from falling objects, because that's where the biggest risk lies. Okay. So get underneath that object and hold on, because with an earthquake shaking, it's going to move around.
When is it safe to come out?
Wait till the shaking stops, and then wait maybe an additional minute or so just to ensure there's nothing else that's going to be falling or that's still moving, and make sure it's safe to come out.
And you mentioned that glass before. Keep away from those windows, those
Exactly.
skylights.
Exactly.
All that shattered
A
glass.
great idea is to have a bag next to your bed with shoes and a flashlight in it, so that in case you do have broken glass and you need to get out of your bed, you have protection for your feet and you have a light to see.
Well, and that's a good point, because a lot of times these things happen when we are in bed.
Exactly.
And you want to stay there. You don't want to get up and run into your kids' room. You don't want the
Correct.
kids to get up and run in your room. You want to stay there until the shaking stops.
Right. And cover your head with a pillow lightly, because again, it's any protection over your head or your body that can prevent injury.
What if you're driving in a car?
That's the common question. When you're in a car, the easiest thing to do is gradually slow down, pull over to the side, and stop. Stay with your car and evaluate the situation around you rather than driving off. Make sure everything is safe first.
And if people here in the Bay Area, if you're on a bridge, in a tunnel, what do you do
Again,
then?
safest thing is pull over, stop, and evaluate your situation before you take next steps. If you immediately react, you don't know what's changed in front or behind you.
You have given us so much good information. If I can't remember it all, I can go to the website.
Yes.
And it is www.smcready.org.
That's right.
Right? All right. Thank you so much, Sean
welcome.
O'Connor. It was really nice to meet you and
Thank you.
learn all this information. Now I'm off to learn some more.